What's up, fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. We are going to do a general tarot reading for the fire sign collective. This is a general reading, so please come into it with an open heart and an open mind. Please use your own discernment and discretion to take away only the messages that speak to you, that motivate you, empower you, inspire you. Look at Leo and Sag showing up. I know you're there too, Aries. Let's see. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's try and have some fun and get you some helpful, insightful messages. And again, there's no timestamp on this, so if you come across this message, it might just be for you. All right. For the fire signs, what do the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sag, need to hear right now? Oof. Two kings battling it out for you. Which will make the offer? Do you have a water sign and an air sign duking it out for you? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, then we have these cards. All right, let's take a closer look at this. There's that Temperance card coming up again, so could potentially be some Sagittarius energy, but because this is a general reading for the fire signs, it might just be a card of healing and wellness. Regaining one's strength. Yeah, maybe taking some time to focus on you. That's sort of what I'm getting from this Temperance card. But let's see, because there's definitely people around you. You know, I actually sense that you are caught in like a back and forth, and I'm not sure if it's between friends, if it's between parents, coworkers, children, but I actually see my fire sign as being caught in the middle and trying to make a peace offering. It's almost very Libra energy coming through. So it might involve a Libra. You guys may have strong Libra in your chart if you're watching this, but it's almost like you're trying to balance things out. You're trying to be like the voice of reason, be diplomatic, weighing it out. And it's almost like you want to make sure that everybody feels like they're being heard. And I don't know, it feels like some sort of decision possibly comes down to you, or you're at least trying to like persuade your audience or your crowd here of doing the right solid thing. Like with earth energy, I do feel like you kind of may have a good idea that you're trying to pitch, or a good way to resolve this little argument, whatever it is. So then let's look down here. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so if someone in this is definitely feeling hurt with the Five of Pentacles, you know, feeling left out in the cold. And it's interesting that it's under the King of Swords. I'm not throwing any shade towards any of my air signs. However, I will say that the King of Swords, we have to remember it's fixed air. So there is that Aquarian energy, which, you know, in a beautiful way can be ruled by Saturn, but is also ruled by that kind of Saturnian, I'm right, you're wrong, like kind of that fixed mental energy of not being able to see kind of beyond their own viewpoint, because it's almost like they see themselves as like speaking for the majority or for the crowd. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I almost feel like, I don't know how else to say it. It's almost like they've had their ass handed to them and they're a little bit embarrassed. But they're not coming out and saying that. If anything, I think it's making them more defensive. So I will say, because of that, my heart kind of goes out to them a little bit. It does feel a little bit immature, because it feels like they were really fighting for something that they thought was right and true and believed in, but as it turns out, it's not going their way, or they were wrong, one or the other. But they're kind of like reverting to that child mode of like pouting, or the silent treatment. Oh my God, I'm so getting that here. But really, if we kind of peel back the layers of that, it's because they're hurting. It's because they're sad. You know, it's like they're ashamed or they're embarrassed, and they feel like, you know what it's like. All you fire signs have done it too, right? Where you make a big stink about something and walk out of the room, and then you're like, oh shit, how am I going to go back in there? Like, it's kind of funny, but in the moment it's not. So anyway, then we have this other person, and maybe you're one of these two. It's possible, but because, I don't know, because this is showing up, I almost feel like my fire signs are kind of trying to play the pacifist this week or this month, something like that. So then you potentially have a water sign. It doesn't have to be, but you have this energy over here that's kind of, I would say they're not as well versed. They're not as well seasoned in this area, but what they are contributing, their idea, their whatever it is, whatever they're pitching or trying to get people to believe in, whatever they're trying to get people behind, It does seem to be solid. Like the Knight of Pentacles, if you're going to rely on any of the Knights, I would rely on the Knight of Pentacles versus, you have the Five of Pentacles coming up here, which that can be kind of a crisis card. Yeah, the Five of Pentacles is Mercury in Taurus, so sometimes it can have to do with like health issues or just not feeling right. It's also kind of brace yourself. I'm going to say it. I'm almost getting like I'm trying to phrase this delicately because I don't want anyone to be offended, but there's like there's like a stupidity here. And I don't really mean that, but it's kind of the word that I was feeling. So pardon me for saying that. But the reason I say that is because there's a lack of awareness of who's on your team and who can help you out. So this person, this energy is being really like pig-headed and stuck up and my way or the highway, but they're not realizing that like whatever this middle ground is, like it's an Ace of Pentacles. Like it serves both parties. And again, it's almost like this person wants to be the hero, and because they know that this other energy is coming through with like a really solid idea or offer, they're casting themselves out in the cold, when again, like in this card, it's like you can seek refuge. Like the church is right there. It's a stained glass window. You don't have to walk barefoot in the snow anymore. But it's like they're doing it on principle alone because they would never bow down to this energy. So I'm sort of getting the sense that you're in the middle here. And like, yeah, with the Nine of Swords, you're just like, I don't even know what to do with these people. I don't necessarily think this is the type of Nine of Swords where it's like, oh my God, sleepless nights. I don't know what to do. I'm sick to my stomach over this. Like, I think it's stressful. I think it's kind of like you just want to scream because the people you're dealing with are very immature and it's challenging. It's challenging. I think this is a test from the universe for my fire signs. I really do. I think that's why Temperance is coming through. It's like a challenge to see what you do in the face of not adversity, but I don't know. How do you please everyone in this scenario? And can you? I'm not even sure that you can. So let's keep that at the bottom. Ooh, but look, the sun. The sun's going to come out. Something positive comes from this. What else do I want to look at before we pull more? If you are in some sort of scenario where you're having to pick a person or a suitor or pick, I don't know what it is, someone from a job interview, you seem to be in the power position. My fire signs do. I'm liking this energy better. It doesn't have to be a Virgo. It doesn't have to be a Scorpio, but it might be. And just those two signs alone, if we break it down, when I think, okay, what do those signs have in common? Whether it involves a Virgo or a Scorpio or not, both those signs are, you could say maybe obsessive about getting to the core, getting to the truth, seeking deeper wisdom and meaning. Virgo wants to do it in a sense that it wants to serve the people around. So the more information it can acquire, the better it can do its job. So it just keeps learning and learning and learning. It's very curious, but it puts that knowledge into practicality, right? It's not just, superficial information, right? And then with Scorpio, they're like that detective, they're that psychologist, they're that person who wants to just dig deep into the ground and keep going and going and going so that they can learn something, and through that process, it kind of transforms themselves. Anyway, the reason I say that is like, I have a larger sense of trust, and they're standing on more solid ground here. They're just in a better spot, mentally, physically, energetically, where if this person, they might hide it well. Like they show up as the King of Swords, which again is a great card, especially for knowledge, wisdom, intelligence, things involving law, writing, etc. But if what they're coming from is the Five of Pentacles, there might be issues with like finances there, like a lack of funding, or coming from a place of just not feeling good about themselves, right? Pentacles can also have to do with how one values themselves and others. It's like they're nursing a wound or something. And instead of asking for help, right? Instead of, I don't know, kind of stepping up and being mature or admitting fault, it seems like their gut reaction is just to be like, oh, screw it, I'm out of here, whatever. Like, it's that whatever, I don't care, and they care so much. Oh my God, they care so much. Let's do one more card for each. Wish fulfillment. And okay, here's the thing though, I will say, if and when this person gets their way, and I think they will, if this story resonates and you kind of have to be sort of like the one who makes the decision, the judge, more or less, right? I wonder if judgment will come up. You're probably going to sway in their favor. You're probably going to swing in their favor, and they might be just a tiny little bit smug about it or a little bit arrogant. There's a little bit of like, I told you so to this person, right? Like the way he's got like his little arms crossed, just like, I told you it was going to be like that all along. Yeah, oh, this poor person. They're riding the struggle bus. They didn't get their way. It's like they're in too deep and they don't know how to fix it. I think they've already said too much, and it's like they see it as impossible as being able to be part of this group again. This might be among friends, right? So here's the thing, because you're kind of seeing what's underneath, I would be careful with how you react to this person, fire signs. I would encourage you to be the bigger person and understand that, you know, everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about. This person is carrying like a lot of wounds and they have a lot of triggers. And, you know, they probably grew up in a household where they were constantly told that they were dumb or not good enough. So, you know, when they pitch an idea and it's not the best one, that really gets to them. But this is a really great learning opportunity, right? Opportunity for you to balance things out and to make sure that everybody does feel heard. It's not that everybody can get their way in this scenario. It's just not going to happen. To me, the Ace of Pentacles is like, no, we have to choose one. Right? There's only one job opportunity. There's only one dating prospect. There's only one, you know, fill in the blank. And I think it's going to go to this one. But this whole scenario feels like a really good learning opportunity, especially if you're applying for some sort of like management position or a leadership position. You are going to encounter scenarios where you do have to be the deciding vote, and it can be very uncomfortable. I think that's what this is. I feel like I keep calling you Sagittarius because of this card, so I'm sorry if I have. This is very much for Aries and Leo as well. But there is heavy Sagittarius, and I will say Libra energy keeps kind of coming through here. All right, so how do we help this middle person? What's the best advice I can give them? The middleman. It's a decision to not make a decision, but that's the wrong decision. Like, avoidance is not your friend. Being the wallflower, trying to be diplomatic and like hold your tongue because you don't want to alienate everyone, that's the wrong decision. Unfortunately, there's something about this scenario, this time, this opportunity, or I shouldn't say unfortunately, but you are being asked to step up and it makes you very uncomfortable. But know that you can do this. You can absolutely do this, fire sign. Let's see. Because ultimately you're establishing where the value lies in this. Not necessarily with whom. I wouldn't put it like that. But it's like you all have the same goal in mind. You're all trying to, you know, fill in the blank, build the house, whatever, right? You're trying to establish order among anarchy and alienation and chaos. But as long as you keep people's feelings in mind, right? And you understand that, you know, everybody's just, I shouldn't say, no. I was going to say everybody's just trying to do their best. I'm going to go back to this. Because I don't know if this person is doing their best. I think they thought they were right, and when they weren't, that kind of went south. But again, that kind of Scorpio energy, Sun in Scorpio, it's your job to transform this anarchy into something that is useful. And something that is long lasting too with Taurus energy. This is like a really important step in your career or your romantic life, your family life, any type of relationship, where it's like a really solid building block that once you achieve this, it's going to help you in the future. So when scenarios like this come up again, it doesn't feel so uncomfortable because you've had the training, you've had the experience, you've had the learning opportunity. You're like, oh, okay, I know how to deal with this now. And my heart goes out to you too, because it feels like you're dealing with tricky people. I don't mean tricky and deceitful. I actually don't get that at all. It's that everybody wants to be right, and maybe including you too, right? Maybe there is a third idea in the mix, but you seem to have to like completely throw that one out the window. I don't know. Yeah, lead with your heart. I know it's cheesy, but that's what I would say with this kind of Sun and Scorpio energy. You can transform the situation into something positive. All right. That felt a little bit more work scenario like. I don't know if it was, but we'll see what else we can get in another spread here. All right. Fire signs. Let's see what else wants to come out. Fire signs. I hope that was helpful. That was like a very long reading for a short message. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Whoops. Ooh, those are upside down. Are they all upside down? Nope, just those. Whoa. Okay. Okay, let's see here. We're using the Pulp Girls Tarot deck, by the way. It's a relatively new deck, and I'm digging it. I love the illustrations. Five of Swords. Looking back on a commitment. Hold on. I was going to say a commitment that wasn't made. Someone wasn't able to commit because there was some confusion. I'm hearing the word misheard or misinterpreted. Yeah, and now someone's thinking about going back. This feels like someone who got out of a relationship or maybe it wasn't a relationship, maybe it was just a few dates. It's almost like you wrote somebody off too early, or yeah, I'm almost getting sort of like talk is cheap. There was something heard or told, or it feels very rumor-esque about maybe a dating prospect or someone you were romantically linked to. I don't know how well you knew this person. It feels more new to me. It feels like, a couple dates in. Something was said and there was a decision to not commit, but the reasoning behind it wasn't all truth, if that makes sense. With the moon upside down, very like Neptune-y energy, Piscean energy, Taurus energy in the upright, it's all about commitment and stability, long-term longevity. Yeah, I even get sort of like mean girl energy, and it's not a gender thing, but it has to do with like things that were being preached or said, or gossip. That's a really good word for this too. Gossip that wasn't necessarily true. It's in the upside down, so to me it doesn't hold the weight that Taurus energy usually would. It might involve a Taurus or a Pisces. It doesn't have to. I'm really seeing Cancer there too. So then off this person goes on their way to do something else. This card is throwing me a little bit. I might get a clarifier on that, but then they go back to reconsidering the past person. So, oh my God, this feels confusing, you guys. I mean, it feels like you haven't decided who you want to be with, or maybe you just don't have any good prospects right now. Okay, so my fire signs may have started to date someone, and you got the impression that they were also holding out for someone else. That feels very strong. And reasonably so. It's almost like you were offended. It feels like you were like, well, I'm not going to be like this person's second choice, like WTF. That feels very, in terms of the message coming through, that's coming through very clearly. So then, you get over it, right? You get yourself looking good. You get yourself done up. You're ready to put yourself out there. You're on the apps. You're doing something else. But then, again, this is where I'm wanting to pull a clarifier. It feels like heavy lifting. It feels, let's see. I think this is a Saturn card. So it's like there's a lot of hard work here. It's almost like, I don't know if this is for all of you, but it's almost like being back in the dating game feels like such a struggle. Because maybe you were out of it for a while. Maybe you were in a relationship for a year, a couple of years, 6 months, whatever. And so the reasoning for the breakup seems very cloudy and confused, possibly on both people's ends. Like it just kind of tapered off and then it was nothing. So then, yeah, you're back out there, you're in the dating game, and you're just so effing over it. It just feels like, it's like you're just starting Page of Pentacles, and you're like, I'm done. Dating is not for me. Like, I'm just going to be single. But then Two of Pentacles, to me, if this is a dating spread, it does feel very much like you have options. And I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can say is if this storyline is coming up, it seems like you might be considering the one that you broke up with or who broke up with you. And again, I think it has to do with there's a lot of like shade and confusion over the absolute reason behind it. Justice, balance. So again, yeah, weighing things out. It seemed like at least one of the people in this relationship wasn't able to give as much as the other person. Now, it could have been because they were really invested in their job and they didn't feel like they had time to date. It could also be that they had someone else that they had a pulse on, maybe on a dating app, or, a long lost lover from the past came back. And so there was, but there isn't clarity there, though. I am going to say that. And I feel like that's said even more with justice coming through, which is a card of like truth and justice. We don't have that with the cards that follow. So it's possible some of you may go back to re-examine or reach out, like, why things ended up the way they did. I don't know what you're going to get from that, to be honest. Let's see if that's the case. Like, should the fire sign pursue this? Single. It's like you're happy or single, which is funny because I know most of you watching this are like, no, tell me about my dating life. But at least initially, I'm not saying this is forever by any means at all, but it's like, for those who resonate with the storyline, at least somewhat, it's like when you go back in the dating game, it just feels like you're met with obstacle after obstacle after challenge after challenge. It's like you make plans to go on a date and your car breaks down. You make plans to go on a date and the person flakes on you. You make plans to go on a date and, you spill something all over yourself, so you have to go home and change. Like, you're getting all these crazy signs from the universe that it's just like, this is not supposed to be this hard. It's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be easy. And you're right. Initially it is. Right? And when you're in the early stages of dating, it's not supposed to be stressful, right? You have spark, you have chemistry, it's supposed to be fun, right? Then you get into the more serious stuff and, then you kind of have to weigh out what you're really looking for. Making sure you can see these cards. Yeah, this is the same message to me. It's like, I see most of you as showing up single in this reading, most of you. But it's like, it's not that I don't think you're losing sleep over it, but at night it's like you have dreams about someone or this person or what happened. Like it feels like it's nagging at you or gnawing at you that you don't know all the answers. So I'm going to ask that one more time then. Is it worth the fire sign reaching out to get any sort of, I mean, my instincts say no. I don't think that's going to serve you. I don't know if this person is going to be upfront with you, or if it's going to blindside them, right? If you broke up with them and then you're like, oh, hey, I'm not sure how that's going to go over, fire sign. Yeah, I feel like it says keep moving forward. Six of Swords. Six of Swords is generally a pretty positive card, and it is a future-oriented card, right? We're moving into the future. So there are other options for you, but I feel like the universe is throwing some obstacles at you in terms of like the dating game, just for the simple purpose of divine timing. Because and I don't mean to offend, but I do sort of get a sense that some of you guys are just so desperate to be back in a relationship again because it feels familiar. It's like you want that buddy system. You want that person to always go, whatever you do, hiking with, out to dinner, to the movies, whatever people do these days. Not that I know. But like you want that buddy system. You want that companion. But I think the universe is trying to tell you, you can find that in friendship. You can still be single and not linked to anybody romantically and still go do all those things. And it's not to say like, because you deserve to be single, fire signs. It's not that. It's that the universe doesn't want you to start connecting or linking on to someone when it's not the right, it's like, it's not the right person. I almost feel like the universe is it's like they're holding an ace up their sleeve, but you have some other stuff you got to sort through first. I'm getting a move for some of you. It's funny, I got that in the last one too. Some of you might be moving soon. But then there's options that come about. So let's talk about that. We'll keep using this deck, why not? You have two cards indicating options in the future. But I don't necessarily think going back to the past is gonna, yeah, okay, thank you. I was saying 9 of Wands. The past is kind of blocked right now. I don't see that giving you anything else that you really need. Thank you. Yeah, allow there to be confusion, but don't let it nag at you. Just move on. Know that, divine timing was working for you. The 7 of Wands, yeah, it's like you got to put your best foot forward, 100%. I do see an Aries showing up here. An Aries, maybe a Leo in your future. Someone who's a fighter, like they, like literally. They could be in the military, but I mean more like martial arts. I know that's kind of funny. I'm just getting that off of this card. Someone who does like fighting competitions or wrestling or something very physical with their body. It could be weightlifting or... Eight of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say it again after this. Your mind seems to be really stuck and preoccupied in the past. It's like when you go to bed at night, you're thinking about it. Like when you're talking to your best friends, you always bring up that ex Libra or your ex. Or when you're at work, you're still thinking about what they did or who they're hanging out with. And that's not serving you. The message here is to move on, to understand that like there are brighter skies ahead. It's foggy and it's confusing, but that's because, brace yourself, it's none of your business. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why or how or why it didn't happen. I think that's why this message came up, is because the universe is wanting to like wake some of the fire signs up to be like, you usually are so future oriented, my fire signs, but maybe this is a cross watcher coming in. I don't know, but it's forward movement, baby, into the future. All right, let's get you. Let's do one of these. How am I doing for time? I'm doing okay. Oops. All right. Introspection and the present, right? Not the past. Love it. All right, let's see. Introspection. The ocean's surface can be volatile, covered in waves big enough to swallow ships. It's the depths that sustain rich life. If we only ever stay at our surface, we are forced to ride the turbulence. We can become disoriented, so caught up in other people that we forget our own power. Tune into the universe within, tap into your vast wisdom, give yourself the space to reflect on the world and your place in it. Focus on your healing, your needs, and your growth. Stepping away from the world from time to time will allow you to re-enter it with a renewed and wiser perspective. And I think that's why you're getting the Nine of Pentacles, lady, too. It's like, go out and do you. Where is she? Oh, I lost her. Where's my Nine of Pentacles, lady? There she is. He or she. It's cool to just do you for a bit. Don't rush into a relationship just for the sake of being coupled. I really think that's the message this week. And I know some of you are bummed about that, but I mean, it's, you know, that changes. Life changes. Life happens when you least expect it. But I feel like if you're trying to force a relationship, you're going to prolong like the right one coming in, because it's like you're settling for low-hanging fruit, right? Just because it's there doesn't mean that it's delicious. All right, I am looking for present. Whoops, sorry. Persona, limiting beliefs. It's under the present? Let's see. Yes, it is. The present. Okay. We can so easily get caught up in the past or future that we forget about the power of this moment. But everything is happening right now. We can only take action in the present. What happens now shapes what will happen next. Instead of focusing on the unchangeable, allow the energy to return to your body. Let go of anything you wish to release and immerse yourself in your surroundings. Focus on your body. Take a breath, wiggle your toes, and dance. Bask in the gift that is here and now, and trust that the next steps will be there to greet you when it is time. Amen. Glory, hallelujah. All right, fire signs, that's what I got for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I've missed you all. I haven't been on YouTube in a long time. So show me some love. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends, and hopefully I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.